National People's Party, a political party officially registered with the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, ZEC, on the 12th of February 2016. She is challenging President Robert Mugabe for the presidency and for the Mujuru has served in government for a total of 34 years. She was a cabinet minister from 1980 to 2004, then vice president from December 2004 to 2014. Dr. Mujuru has a diploma in adult education, a BSc in management and entrepreneurial development studies, and an MSc in strategic management, and a PhD from the University of Zimbabwe Faculty of Commerce. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming.
Thank you. What a topic. Women leaders on the global stage, lessons for Africa. Our host, Professor Tim Allen, and event chair, our chairlady, Tina, fellow distinguished panelists, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I feel highly honored to be a panelist on this day, discussing women leaders' challenges and opportunities they are confronted with in their endeavor to change the world. I'm sorry, I've been coughing, so if you hear me barking. I should, however, hasten to say that a more apt topic should have been women leaders on the global stage, lessons from Africa and for Africa. As women in leadership, we have stories, very powerful testimonies that, if shared, could inspire a lot of women globally. We are not just the receivers of lessons from elsewhere. We also impart knowledge from our unique experiences as women brought up in extremely unique circumstances. I'm happy, though, that we are having to celebrate this year's International Women's Day at a time Africa has woken up to reality of the marginalization of women, especially the girl child. The African Union Commission declared 2015 as the year of the women's empowerment and development towards Africa's Agenda 2063. Women represent more than half of the 1.2 billion African population, with more than 50% of it under 25 years of age. Women political leaders in different countries across Africa face numerous barriers to entry into politics or in the political field. I think you have heard what Aduma has said. Women political leaders in different countries across Africa face numerous barriers to entry into the political field. While there are these challenges, they are not entirely insurmountable and unique to Africa. We celebrate great leaders like Angela Merkel of Germany, Salif Johnson of Liberia, and Theresa May of United Kingdom, among others. Currently, there are about It is also heartening to note that Africa is coming around in terms of these stereotypes, seeing that the first lady chair of the African Union has just completed a term of office, something that was inconceivable a decade ago. In the same commission, women hold 50% of the African Union Parliament seats. Notwithstanding such milestones, the African continent remains highly patriarchal society. Due to the numerous armed conflicts in Africa, which is home to nearly half of 42 ongoing conflicts, African women are in the majority and in charge of households and are key food producers. They represent more than 43% of the agricultural labor force. Some of them are direct participants in the struggle itself. In these conflicts, women are often victims of sexual predators who take advantage of the war. The sad story of the Nigerian girls kidnapped and abused by the Boko Haram comes to mind. I happened to have spent about 8 years fighting in the war. I'm a soldier. Please don't run away. Fighting in the war of liberation, fighting for the land and against social discrimination. I had to fight to rise through the ranks to become a commander and a trainer of combatants, mostly men. While fighting the enemy in our military camps, I was confronted by a different war, a war I had to fight against fellow comrades. Almost on a daily basis, I had to stand up against the abuse of female freedom fighters by male commanders who were above my military rank. It was a cause I dedicated my life to once, a cause for which I almost lost my life. My wartime experiences were an orientation to leadership from which I learned to be tough when confronted by soft challenges, and be cool and calm, and may be soft when the going became rough, really tough. I learned to be calm in the midst of storms. Post-independence, I was fortunate to have been appointed into government at a tender age of 25. A privilege that was not afforded to many women gallant fighters. I rose through the ranks in government to the position of Vice President of the Republic. I also owe a lot of academic surgery that I undertook while balancing equally important roles as a young wife, a mother, a cabinet minister, and at the tail end of it, a vice president. I'm glad that as Minister of Government, through the Minister of Women Affairs that I was heading, we passed good laws on women's emancipation that included the Adult Age of Majority Act of 1982 and the Matrimonial Causes Act of 1985, among others. The former act allowed women to own property in their own names, and the latter recognized for the first time in our country a wife's direct and indirect contribution to family property to be considered when distributing assets should divorce occur. We believe, however, that these girls are now being threatened. We believe, however, that these rights are now being threatened by a government that does not respect private property rights. As women, more so as leaders in our country, we are fighting to ensure private property rights are respected for the security of investments and creation of a conducive environment to doing business by the local and foreign investor. Today, these look like a pretty obvious provisions attendant in every democratic progressive society. But in Zimbabwe then, it was a difficult task to decontrast and disabuse men of the Victorian male chauvinism that colonialism had reinforced on an equally patriarchal African tradition. Events might be coming slowly, but we stand proud today that we have a constitution. We have a constitution crafted in 2013 during the tenure of our inclusive government that enshrines gender equality and outlaws discrimination. We have also achieved, through the 2013 constitutional provisions, a doubling of women representation in parliament to 35%. It is a milestone, but our politics remains violent and repulsive of women participation. The story of Rwandan women shining with 64% of the country's legislative seats inspires us to strive for more. We African women are excellent in multitasking, but it takes a lot of focus and determination. I'm happy that the many years in the bush and many years in government have prepared me to meet whatever challenges come my way. When it became apparent that I was the clear successor to President Robert Mugabe, many seemed not ready for that, although the nation had fully endorsed my candidature. What is said in most of these cases of persecution and abuse of women is that men find willing accomplices in some of our own fellow women. This was the case in Zimbabwe, where those at the forefront of sidelining me were fellow women. This is a cancer that we must deal with as women if we are to advance in various leadership positions. We left the ZANU-PF to form ZIM-PF, a new opposition political party with the Liberation War credentials, which we have rebranded to the National People's Party. Unfortunately, we had carried along male chauvinists who wanted me to front their struggle. They wanted to capitalize on my brand and leverage support from citizens, but had plans to ditch me for a male leader once I had done all the groundwork. I enjoyed results, insults, and abuse from these male opportunists until I had to pick myself up in the interest of the common good. This is the background to the so-called split that you might have read about. I had to exercise my authority and expelled the rogue elements. Sadly, as always, they are willing accomplices to help the men advance their cause. As I prepare for my presidential bid for our 2018 elections, I take comfort in the fact that others have done it. The experience this far has hardened me and prepared me for the great task I had. We pray that more and more women in Africa find the courage to challenge the status quo and seek to bring sanity to governance that has for long remained a male-dominated arena. In Zimbabwe, we have made significant strides that we can leverage on. Section 56, subsection 2 of our Constitution states that women and men have the right to equal treatment, including the right to equal opportunities in political, economic, cultural, and social spheres. It is a significant achievement that we, however, are fighting to be implemented through parliamentary acts that Mugabe's government is not keen to promulgate. The women of Zimbabwe, under the auspices of the Women's Coalition, a network of non-governmental organizations working on women's issues, prior to my coming here, gathered and impressed on me to take our Section 56 campaign to you. So we say, help us. Give us solidarity. Put us in your prayers. Give us wise counsel. We have a duty as women gifted in primary socialization of children to instill non-violent culture in our children to ensure a violence-free society. Women suffer more than men in political conflicts. Where men just fear for physical harm on their bodies, women suffer both physical and emotional damage as we fall victim to both grievous physical insult and dire emotional distress as a result of rape, a form of violence mostly meted on women in conflict zones. While we are glad that political party that I lead, the National People's Party, is currently drawing laws that criminalize sexual harassment in our party, we feel more has to be done for sexual harassment to be eradicated from our politics altogether. In conclusion, Madam Chair, I challenge fellow women leaders in more advanced countries in the world to rally behind their female counterparts, fighting the battle that they have had to wage and won. I feel that as a woman, we have a big role to play, not only in our domestic politics, but in world affairs, and our unique experience as Africans provide a new spectrum through which we can change the world. Let us support one another for a better world, moderated by mothers who are experts in multitasking. I thank you.
Thank you very much to our panelists for three excellent presentations, really inspiring us and setting the scene. It's now over to you. It's your opportunity to ask questions of our panelists. And in doing so, I would ask that you start with your name and any affiliation, and wait for one of our stewards with a roving mic to get to you. So where are we going to start? Okay, there's a lady here with the brown jumper, just a minute.
School of Oriental and African Studies and an LSE alumna. And I would like to address my question to all of our remarkable and inspiring speakers tonight. What contribution can you make, or are you making to politics in your country, or to your country at large, specifically as women? What do women bring to the table?
Thank you very much. Another question. We'll take a few questions and then I'll invite panelists. The question
Hello, good evening. My name is Valerie Miller. I'm from the International Growth Center located here at the IGC, at the London School of Economics, sorry. I would thank you first of all as well from my side for the truly inspirational contributions. It was really interesting and I was deeply moved. I would like to actually frame my question in the background of, against the background of not just women in Africa but also globally, and not just women in politics but also women in other industries and other aspects of life. What in your view can women do in order to support other women and to basically get us closer to the goal of achieving 50-50, but also what can other men do? What is their role, and what can we do as women to include them in this movement?
Thank you very much. I think we'll start with those two questions, and I'd like to invite each of the panelists to answer, and if I may, as briefly as you're able to, so that we can get round and take as many questions as possible. So Dr. Mujuru, you'd like to start.
Thank you very much. What contribution are we making to our women? As a leader, you have to make sure that you are the light. So by so doing, your ways have to be very much different from many other women, so that you actually show that we have the ability to give them something different. For my party, we have already started drafting and crafting issues that the present government has failed to give to the people. And being in government for so many years myself, I know those shortcomings, I know those areas, and I know how best they can be given to our people. For instance, our economy is dying. We no longer have any thriving economy. We no longer have our own currency. Right now we are using United States dollar. We tried to print what we call bond note, and I've been quoted to have called it toilet paper because we can't use it anyway in any other country. Once you move out of the country, it ceases to work. So what I'm trying to do now is to make sure that our women are at the helm of bringing back that economy. So I'm trying to give more confidence to women because we are a majority. We are the workers, like what I've already said. Coming to the point of how men can be included in the 50-50 movement, yes, we have not done it in Zimbabwe, but we have already started, talking about it. What we are now trying to do is to make sure that women, especially this party that is being led by a woman, more favors are given to women so that they are the ones who should be championing in all those areas that are affecting our society, because we are the people who do the chores than men. So they are lucky I'm there.
Well, as far as the first question is concerned, I will give an example of a woman in Sierra Leone who, when she became the Auditor General, she exposed all those who stole Ebola money. If it was a man who was in charge of the audit, he would have been scared to say. That's just a little question. But you all know that women are natural caregivers. Women have a heart. Women are non-confrontational. Women will heal the nation. That is why after the war, we needed women in power to help heal the wounds. They are the ones who took care of the soldiers during the war. They are the ones who took care of the children. They were the ones who gave care to most of them. So women have that natural tendency, and women are less corrupt. I won't say they are less corrupt. Now, how can women support each other? It is very important for us to understand that we must stand by each other. We must stop envying each other. We should give our fellow women as much support as we can, so that at least when they are on the top, many people accuse us of being elitist. They say 50-50 group we are elitist. But we always fight back and say, it is because we are educated that we are able to help, we are trying to help those who are not as educated as us. So women should always try to stand by each other and support each other. And as far as the men campaign is concerned, you all know of the He for She campaign that has been launched recently by UN. And they have just launched it last week in Sierra Leone in our House of Family. And we feel that instead of preaching our gospel to just women, we should preach to the men, because when you pass the message through the men, it gets there faster and people understand, because then they realize how meaningful it is. And we have practical example of doing this in Sierra Leone. Whenever we went to the villages up country, we start by going to the chiefs and convincing them. When we preach our message to the chiefs and we win them over, then it is easy for them to get the members of their community to support us. So most of the time we do it through the men. And if we do it through the men, we will succeed. So it is very important that we try and get the gender-sensitive men on our side. Once they understand the message, we are their mothers, we are their daughters, we are their aunts, we are their sisters. So of course they will understand and they will help us.
Thank you. I agree with what Dr. Joyce and Jonathan actually said. I'll just add a bit to it. In terms of the first question, what contribution have I actually brought to the table? As I mentioned in my talk, before I announced my candidacy, or before I came forward, I think women were mostly really running to prove a point, but not really taking the initiative very seriously. I was actually very happy to see that instead of negotiating for just, parliamentary seats, as we were normally doing, as a result of stepping forward, we had a lot of women who were saying, you know what, why can't we aspire to the highest office in the country? And as a result, I'd like to believe actually that that's why we have now 28% of the gender quota field. Women came forward, young, highly educated women who really wanted to make a change and who really felt that their time had come, stepped forward and said, we are going to try and make a change, at least from the lower rungs, to make sure that we are able to fill the executive office. And I would like to believe I somehow contributed to that. In regards to your second question as to what women can do, I think if you as a woman, you can't support another female candidate, or you have a problem with that female candidate, I think the least you can do is to stop attacking these women. Mm-hmm. Stop attacking these women. Stop doing the dirty work for men who are cowards and who don't want to step forward and to be seen attacking women. I've always said, please, the least you can do is to keep your mouth shut and stop, clicking and writing on social media. That in itself is major progress, that we can do that. And really to have discussion as to why we feel we must resist this women. What is it in me or in another candidate that forces another woman to actually come forward and attack her and try to derail what she's doing? In terms of what men can do, I think younger men are often quite supportive. In my case, they were the ones who stepped forward, who were helping me to impart my message and to really amplify what I was saying. Older men, it takes a while for them to come on board, but once you really also start having that discussion, one-on-one discussion with them, which gives them an opportunity to challenge your platform, your ideas, your perceptions, your observations, they tend to be quite, I would say, flexible in willing to change their opinions. At least that's what I have experienced with them. And younger men are really, as I said, on board, and they really do want to see a change in leadership, and they actually believe that women should be given an opportunity, and they should be tried. And, so that we at least can say, well, we had a woman and she failed in what she was doing.
Thank you. I'd like to invite, we've got quite a few hands, I'd like to invite 2 more questions, and also if you would like to direct your question to a particular panellist, please say so, or to all panellists, but I'm just trying to get through. There's a lady on the end there, and the lady on the end there. Okay, let's do that. So 1, 2.
Yes, hi. Good evening to each and every one of you. I'm so grateful to hear all of your encouraging words and empowerments for you as a woman in Africa. And this afternoon, I was kind of scared going here. I was hesitant to attend this event because I was having this thought of, I'm scared of what other people or other women will think about me. But nevertheless, I just have the courage to, step out and to listen, to be empowered by the women now in front of me. I am from the Philippines. I am a transgender woman. And all these empowerment words and encouragement, are these only for women, or it would be also an intersectionality towards the transgender women like me? If I'll be in the Philippines, I will definitely have no legal protection from my country. So now I'm here in United Kingdom. I am so grateful that I am who I am and free to be who I am. So my question again, to celebrate the International Women's Day, your words of empowerment and encouragement, are these only for women or